Later on The Tonight Show, Jay learns all about the exciting world of TV lawyers from Ally McBeal's Callista Flockhart. And you never know, Jay might just dance like that Ooga Chaka baby. Your local news is next.
You're in touch with News 6.
Are you considering resignation, Mr. President?
Many observers fear that question will dog the president during the remainder of his time in office. Others are wondering tonight if that time will now be measured in years, months, or days.
There are also questions tonight involving the Northwest Airlines strike. Both sides have acknowledged there's a contract proposal, but neither will say if the strike is over.
We'll have more on the dispute that continues to cripple air travel in the Northland. But first, tonight's top story, the president under siege. Good evening, I'm Michelle Lee.
And I'm Mark Mallory. For those who remember the final days of the Nixon White House, it's not difficult to draw correlations tonight with the events now unfolding in Washington.
Campbell Brown is on Capitol Hill, where members of the House Rules Committee are poised to begin what is being called the solemn process, involving the now infamous Starr report involving Monica Lewis and others.
Good evening. Well, tonight lawmakers are one step closer to making Starr's report public. It is expected to outline in great detail the president's relationship with Monica Lewinsky.
Do you think it went well?
Are you considering resignation, Mr. President?
A glance, but no response. Though it's hard to imagine the president is thinking about anything but his political survival. Tonight, a public show of support from the First Lady.
And I'm proud to introduce my husband and our president, Bill Clinton.
The president spent much of today saying, "I'm sorry," to his cabinet members.
I support him. He was hurting. He apologized, and we got to move on.
And to Senate Democrats.
I think it's fair to say we all accept his apology, and we need to go on from here.
But they also warned the president moving on may not be an option, that he must consider the possibility the information in these boxes will end his presidency. Legal sources tell NBC Starr's report contains 11 possible grounds for impeachment, including perjury, abuse of power, and obstruction of justice. Tonight, the House Rules Committee set the process in motion by approving a resolution to release many of Starr's findings to the public. It's expected to be approved by the full House tomorrow. Then the Judiciary Committee will begin its review and decide if impeachment hearings are warranted.
If the evidence does justify an inquiry, I will unhesitatingly recommend a fuller inquiry.
The president's attorney, David Kendall, says nothing the president has done amounts to an impeachable offense. Kendall plans to offer a rebuttal to Starr's report as soon as it's released. I'm Campbell Brown on Capitol Hill. Now back to you.
All right, that was Campbell Brown in Washington. Thank you.
Meantime, the stage is set for an historic battle on the House floor tomorrow.
Deciding how and when the Starr report will be released will be the first order of business. After that, House members will decide if the next step in impeachment proceedings will be taken. Speaking on MSNBC tonight, Republican Senator John Ashcroft said the president's future looked grim.
I frankly believe that he's already confessed to doing the kinds of things that would have removed any CEO of any private organization or corporation from office.
Well, now you might be wondering tonight what it takes to impeach the most powerful person in America.
Obviously, it isn't easy, and it isn't a duty taken lightly. The Constitution gives the U.S. House the sole power of impeachment and gives the Senate the sole power to try all impeachments. If a president were to be tried, the Constitution says the Chief Justice of the United States would preside. Senators would preside as jurors, and a two-thirds majority of those senators would be needed to convict. Grounds for impeachment include conviction for treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors.
Well, when Ken Starr's report on the president is released to the public, a copy will be posted on the internet.
Now, we've set up a link from News 6 Online to that site. Just log on to www.kbjr.com. Meanwhile, President Clinton diverted attention from the Starr investigation for a few moments and announced a possible end to the Northwest Airlines pilot strike.
Our Adam May has been covering the 13-day strike. He joins us live with the very latest. Adam.
Well, Mark and Michelle, travelers may once again fill Duluth International Airport, and taxis may once again fill the empty road I'm standing on. After 13 days without pilots, Northwest may once again live up to the motto, some people just know how to fly.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say how delighted I am that Northwest Airlines and its pilots have reached terms that form the basis of an agreement. The parties are now working on the specific time of getting back to work. The agreement, of course, will have to be approved, but I think this strike is over.
Meanwhile, a few hours later, spokespeople for both sides made brief but encouraging statements.
Northwest pilots will remain on strike pending the outcome of the MEC meeting. Details of the proposed settlement will not be released until presented to the MEC. I can take no questions at this time.
If approved and ratified, the proposed settlement would end the strike. We would like to thank National Mediation Board Chairwoman Maggie Jacobson, Federal Mediator Jack Kane, and White House Deputy Counsel Bruce Lindsay for their assistance throughout this process. Thank you very much.
Now the two sides will meet again on Saturday to look over this possible agreement. It's still undecided if the pilots union special counsel will vote on this agreement on Saturday or if it'll go to an entire vote before all members of the pilots union. Mark and Michelle.
Adam, any timeline on how soon those planes could be back in the air?
Well, the pilots are still on the picket line. In fact, they will be picketing until Saturday. But in the meantime, it does look as if the strike is solved on Saturday, that people from the airline say could be a couple weeks until all the planes are back up in the air.
Adam, one more question. Do we know how long until the laid-off employees go back to work?
No, those employees have not received any sort of notification that would send them back to work. What we do know is that some employees, like mechanics, have been ordered to stop mothballing planes and may soon again be getting those planes ready to fly.
Okay, thank you, Adam, for that live report.
Turning to other news tonight, sources at the Moose Lake prison say there's threats of retaliation following the murder of an inmate there. Reports indicate 27-year-old Matthew Conroy died Monday from a fatal punch to the windpipe. There are still no charges filed in the death, but approximately 20 prisoners involved in the fight have been sent to Oak Park Heights Prison, which is maximum security. This is the first murder at a medium security prison in the state of Minnesota. Well, a few sprinkles here and there didn't cause any problems here in the Northland. We sure could use that rain.
We could use some more, and George is monitoring that right now. George?
I am indeed. I'll tell you, though, the rain has been few and far between. In fact, it's been downright pathetic. Who am I to condemn sprinkles, though? I'll show you all about that. But first, I was going to take a trip to what's making weather headlines, and that's Tropical Storm Francis down in the Gulf of Mexico. Winds are up to 60 miles an hour, but that's not Francis's biggest problem. It's all of the rain that's been thrashing the Texas coast, not to mention the high tides. And even though the winds are only 60 miles an hour, it's become quite an issue for the folks there just because it's been sustained and the tides are up. We'll be hearing a lot more about Francis tomorrow as it makes landfall. Good news, though, it's not a hurricane. Around here, when you're going out and around tomorrow, temperatures in the 60s across northwestern Wisconsin, a couple of 50s in the inland areas of Minnesota. In general, we'll have some clouds blocking out the sun, even the chance for a few more sprinkles. Look at the 5-day, enjoy your sprinkles while you have them. There's another chance on Sunday, but overall, the pattern indicates lots of high pressure. Mark and Michelle.
All right, thank you very much, George. A few sprinkles didn't hurt conditions on the soccer field tonight. Conditions were also pretty good inside on the volleyball court. Tom Hansen will have the highlights on some hot plays.
And hot was the key word today at the 7th annual Chili Cook-Off in Duluth. We'll tell you how this event goes a long way in helping Northlanders.
Plus, are victims of crimes more victimized by the judicial process than by the crime itself? Is there a flaw in the system? Barbara Riles brings us a special investigation next.
Keeping you in touch with today's news with Michelle Lee, Mark Mallory, meteorologist George Kessler, Tom Hansen Sports, and special reports from Barbara Riles. You're watching News 6 at 10.
It only happens once a year, but Slumberland's store-wide Labor Day sale is almost history. For just a few more days, you'll find great bargains in every department. Bargains that will turn your house into a home for less. like this velvety soft, beautifully tailored sofa with detailed braided trim, yours for just $4.99. Or this solid pine sleigh bed with sculptured metal detailing for an unbelievable $4.44. You've just got to see them. The final days are here, so don't miss Slumberland's huge Labor Day sale. It's one of a kind.
Get the best with Glidden from Menard. Spread Ultra 18-year house paint covers most surfaces in one coat. And with Menard's free color matching and mixing, you can get any color you want. Just $11.99 a gallon after rebate. View more of the outdoors with a full view storm and screen door from Chamber Door. It changes easily to window or screen, just $79. Save on everything for your home at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Dodge Intrepid's styling speaks for itself. As for what's underneath, car and driver had a few words of their own. Lease a well-equipped Intrepid for as low as $269 a month.
You can get just about anything at the Miller Hill Mall. Even the latest weather updates from News 6. This computerized weather information center gives you the latest in radar and weather changes. Win great prizes by dropping off a weather question this month for meteorologist George Kessler at Maurice's Electric Outlet, The Nature of Things, and Reinhold's Menswear. Watch News 6 live at 5 every Monday for the winning answer. Shop for the latest weather updates at News 6 Weather Information Center in the Miller Hill Mall.
I think it's totally unfair to the victim. I think that the assailant or criminal is protected much better than the victim.
Donna Waters was brutally beaten and robbed as she waited for a bus in Duluth. The crime itself was terrible, but Donna feels the justice system victimized her as badly as the beating did.
The rights of the accused are well protected under the American Constitution, but in some cases, it's a different story when it comes to the rights of victims.
Barbara Riles joins us to continue our exclusive I-Team 6 investigation into what many say is a substantial flaw in the highly regarded American system of justice.
Becoming a crime victim can be devastating, but having a loved one murdered or victimized can be even worse. Many say the crime itself is just the beginning of their victimization. They complain that the justice system is almost as hard on them as the crime itself.
The whole left side of my face was covered with blood. My head hurt a lot, and the blood went down and stained my coat.
On a cold Duluth morning in January, Donna Waters waited for the bus to take her to work. As she waited, 3 teenage boys came up and asked her for the time. When she checked her watch, one of those boys began to beat her with nunchucks.
He must have hit me 20 or 30 times and kept saying, "Give me your money, give me your money." And I only had about $2 worth of change in the bottom of my purse scattered around. So I was trying to pick that up, but he kept hitting me and kept saying, "Give me your money."
Donna was badly hurt and very frightened, but gathering her courage, she asked to speak at the boy's sentencing. She wanted the judge to know just how traumatic this attack had been.
That I thought he needed to be locked up. Instead, the judge sent him to Woodland Hills Country Club for a few months, including a BWCA canoe trip. I think it's totally unfair to the victim. I think that the assailant or criminal is protected much better than the victim.
Donna Waters is not alone in her disillusionment. Many feel the same way, including Minnesota Attorney General candidate, State Representative Charlie Weaver.
Oftentimes it's a system that is supposed to help the victims cope through a traumatic incident, whether it's a murder or a rape or a robbery, but sometimes ends up hurting them worse. Oftentimes in the criminal justice system, it seems like the system's worried more about the criminal protecting his rights than they are about the victim.
That's because the American Constitution guarantees the criminal's rights, but says nothing about victims' rights.
Because if the suspect's rights are violated, the whole system comes crashing down.
you know, the trial may be dismissed, evidence may be removed or not allowed into trial.
A proposed federal amendment would change the American Constitution to include some rights for crime victims. It includes the right for the victim to make a statement about any release, plea bargain, or parole of the perpetrator, the right to have the victim's safety considered when determining release from custody, the right to receive justice without unreasonable delays, the right to be fairly compensated by the guilty party for losses due to crimes, to be notified of court proceedings, offenders' release or escape, and to be informed of all the rights accorded to a defendant. Minnesota has what's called a Victim's Bill of Rights that already includes many of these terms. But experts tell us these rights are regularly violated, and there's nothing a victim can do because the Bill of Rights includes no legal penalties for violations.
And if you don't give the defendant this, you're going to lose the whole case. But if you don't give the victim something, you're just going to have an irritated victim.
You know, it seemed like I was the only one fighting for this justice, and things weren't being done. It was so frustrating, and it was just awful. It was a terrible, miserable experience.
Darla Koski was a victim of stalking and theft. Her complaints about how victims are treated by the justice system are echoed by a significant number of other crime victims. Tomorrow, I'll take a look at a new and innovative idea to help those hurt by crime, something victims say is long overdue. Mark and Michelle?
All right, thank you very much, Barbara. Very interesting report.
Indeed.
Well, high winds, rain, and now flooding. Tropical Storm Francis continues to stir things up down in the Gulf.
We sure could use some of that rain here. George Kessler will tell us if it's going to rain anytime soon. Stay with us.
Curtis Oil, serving the Northland for over 40 years with home heating oil, is proud to now offer that same quality service to propane customers. Curtis has just purchased all new tanks and equipment, and if you sign up now, you can get 50 gallons free. Curtis Propane Service offers automatic delivery, flexible payment options, qualified technicians, and 24-hour emergency service. To lock in your propane price for 1 year and get a first fill discount, call Curtis at 729-8241. Curtis Oil, now providing full propane service.
Walmart's new electronics department could change the way you shop for good. You've got to see and hear what's new to believe it. Like our state-of-the-art preview system that gives you the power to sample thousands of CDs and videos instantly. Now that's interactive. And for the latest in entertainment, well, the Walmart Network is the latest in entertainment. Could I mention all this is only at Walmart? Our new electronics department. One more way we've made entertainment shopping more entertaining.
At Sieben Grossen von Holtum, we believe in our slogan, if you've been hurt in an accident, know your rights. I grew up here and I've been practicing law for 15 years. To me, good law is building real trust. It's helping people understand what they're up against. For example, I can help you plan for future medical expenses you may not have considered. You know, I love my job because we work for the little guy. If you've been injured, call me and know your rights. That says it all.
Winning is easy at Fond du Luth Casino, and you have even more chances to win with Match Play Drawing. Just use the voucher from your local newspaper at any of the blackjack tables and receive an entry to win one of the 5 Match Play drawings to be held Sunday, September 20th at 10 p.m. September's Match Play drawing could mean instant money in your hand. The action doesn't get any better, and the chances to win couldn't be greater. Have a great time out at Fond du Luth.
Come walk with me. I'm Michelle Lee with News 6. Join me for the Alzheimer's Memory Walk, Saturday, September 12th. Help over 83,000 Minnesotans, their families, and caregivers who are affected by Alzheimer's disease. Take the first step by signing up today as an individual or even as a team. Meet us for a fun day of prizes, food, and the Shrine Clowns at the Alzheimer's Memory Walk, Saturday, September 12th at the Park Point Pavilion, Duluth.
Special thanks to these businesses for all their support.
George Kessler's weather is certified by the American Meteorological Society. Tonight's weather is brought to you by Cellular One.
Well, George, we keep waiting for rain.
And we keep not getting it.
Yeah.
There were a few sprinkles earlier.
Yeah,
Saw
briefly.
those on the car, yeah.
Yeah, that's just enough to get the dust into those nasty little rings on your car. There could be some more substantial showers tonight, but I wouldn't really count on it. That has been the mantra that we have preached all year, that we just have not seen the rain that we need. Right. Temperatures certainly been mighty warm, too. In the 70s, it's 10 o'clock at night. Now, there's a light right in front of our big clock, but it's, what, probably 10:15 or so? 74 degrees. That's toasty. Dew point 58. Some moisture to work with. Not a ton, but some. Winds out of the southwest at 13. Pressures to 9.85. Continues to fall out ahead of that front. Humidity 57%. Numbers across region cooler in International Falls 66. There have been a couple of showers up to the north, but everywhere else holding in the 70s for Minnesota. 1 or 2 60s in central Wisconsin. Out to our west, it's in the 80s. 86 degrees. 10:15 at night. 86 degrees out in Fargo. That's some serious heat. There's Tropical Storm Francis whirling in the Gulf. It is really pulverizing Galveston Island. Now, I heard a statistic, this may not be entirely accurate, but I heard a statistic that the highest point on Galveston Island is 6 feet above sea level. So it doesn't take much of a storm surge to cause some problems there. We'll wait and see. I believe that Francis will be on shore sometime tomorrow, and that will stop the development cycle, which is good news. Off to our west, we still have a front. It's taking its sweet old time. It's not moving quite as quickly as we expected, and so there gives us an increased opportunity of seeing at least 1 or 2 showers or maybe a thunderstorm developing and moving through the region. The longer it takes, the better our chances are of getting rainfall. That's how that is going to work. There's some moisture in Montana. I see 1 or 2 yellows, but when we get in close to the Northland, that really has not been the case. Just a couple of scattered showers, especially to the north. That's why temperatures have been a bit cooler in International Falls. This is the very latest radar in motion. Again, sprinkles. That's all that we see whenever you have those light blue and dark blue centered dots. Out to our west, more organized, but certainly nothing to write home about. But there may be a shower when you're heading out and about tomorrow. The front will eventually go by. I expect passage starting in the west, early morning hours, most likely early afternoon before it clears northwestern Wisconsin. Behind it, high pressure, but this is Pacific high pressure. It is not really Arctic high pressure. So although I expect our temperatures to decrease, you're not exactly going to need the coat when this front is through with us. For tonight, isolated showers. Check out those low temperatures, upper 50s to around 60 degrees. Now, this is the same locations that were in the 20s earlier this week. You have to love fall. You get these big swings. Makes it interesting in the weather office. For tomorrow, it will be quite breezy once the front passes through the region. Temperatures not quite as warm as they were today, but I do expect that we'll have 1 or 2 locations nudging 80 degrees early in the afternoon. 5-day forecast. Another opportunity for storms on Sunday as a weak front passes through, and then more balmy high pressure after that.
Okay, thanks, George.
Yep.
Well, the Baseball Hall of Fame opened today with some historic items.
And a new prep hockey league is about to get underway. Tom Hansen's up next with those stories. And it was heaven on earth for chili lovers at the 7th annual Chili Cook-Off. That's coming up.
How many phones do you use in a day? Simplify your life with one phone, the premier digital service from Cellular One. At work, at home, and all along the way, one phone is the simple wireless solution. Advanced features make one phone more versatile than hardwired phones and more affordable than ever. Around the clock and across the Northland, count on one phone to simplify your life. Call Cellular One now.
AWS, 5-front suspension, case-read liquid cooled engine, awesome power to weight. Not to mention fast track launch rear suspension with torque sensing link.
Get up to $300 in CAT cash or low 9.95 financing.
People from many different places and many different walks of life share something in common. They put their trust in American Family Insurance, some for as long as 3 generations. It's knowing that there's always a friendly American Family agent nearby, an agent who not only understands their needs, but also is at their side when they've had a loss. American Family, all your protection under one roof.
American Family Insurance.
Do you see this? All types of people here at Grandma's Sports Garden. It's kind of like a town square. It's where parents and kids can catch up over a large pizza. Where a coach and an umpire can come to terms over a pitcher of beer. Where a bassoonist and a rock guitarist can relate over a dozen chicken wings. My point is, with delicious Grandma's food, the possibilities are endless. Grandma's Sports Garden Bar and Grill, bringing people together.
Do you find yourself spending a lot of free time wondering about garage doors and openers? Who invented them? Who's built and installed more than anyone? And who would you call if you needed one?
Get a life.
The genuine, the original overhead door. What else do you need to know?
And now, sports with Tom Henson. Tonight's sports are brought to you by RJ Sport and Cycle.
Mark McGuire played again tonight. Results, we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, missed the ball a few
Yeah,
times.
sure.
Oh, he's entitled.
Yeah. You didn't bring any chili back, Mark.
I know, I've gotten
Still
in
learning.
trouble. I've gotten
Still
in
learning.
trouble.
Still learning. That's all right. Baseball Hall of Fame opened up a new display in Cooperstown, New York today. Thanks to slugger Mark McGuire, the attraction has some historic items. It was just over 48 hours ago, McGuire set a new single-season home run record of 62, breaking the 37-year-old record previously held by Roger Maris. The display at Cooperstown now features McGuire's uniform, his son's uniform, Matt, who was the bat boy, several articles of clothing and equipment that Mark had on the historic night, including the bat and the ball. That display opened today. Now, perhaps that's why McGuire didn't get number 63 tonight. All of his articles were in Cooperstown. He went 0 for 3 and a couple strikeouts. He had to break in some new equipment tonight. Home run total remains at 62 for Big Mac, 58 for Sammy Sosa. McGuire was walked again tonight for the 151st time, tying a National League record, 4 walks in a season. Other National League action tonight, the Brewers are looking to bounce back from last night's loss to the Astros. In the 5th, Shane Reynolds strikes out Mike Matheny to end the inning. Reynolds with 12 strikeouts. He actually had a no-hitter into the 5th inning tonight. Watch this bizarre play in the 7th. Marquise Grissom flies out to right fielder Derek Bell, who makes the catch, but Bell thinks that's the 3rd out. He tosses the ball into the stands. But that was only the 2nd out of the game. There he goes right now, nice catch. And then he hoists it into the fans. That's a couple extra bases for the Brewers there. Houston wins this one by 1. The Twins were off tonight. Prep soccer, East was looking to bounce back from Tuesday's loss. Running high tonight at Public School Stadium. Pick up the action in the second half. East already up 2-0. Hound senior defenseman Adam Johnson with a shot, but it ricochets off a Hunter defender and over the Hunters goalkeeper. 3-0 Hounds. They go on to win this one 4-0. East now 3-2 on the year. Paul Charles's Hounds team was 17-3 a year ago. Busy night in high school volleyball as well. Two Harbors took a short trip south to Duluth to face the Hounds tonight. We pick up the action early on in this one. East on the attack. Junior setter Steph Hesch with the perfect set to sophomore Laura Batisi, and she finds some open space on the Agates side out for the Hounds. Later, the Agates end a very long rally when Christy Lampe finds Amanda Murphy, side out to Harbors. East goes on to win this match 3-1. Minnesota high school hockey players now have another outlet to improve their game while staying at home and in school. This weekend, a 10-team fall hockey league will open across the state. Readers of the Up North newspaper network will be reading about it in upcoming sports editions, but the program will kick off locally here Saturday as the Duluth team faces an Iron Range team in Hoyt Lakes. The Duluth team will be co-managed and coached by Pat Fairchild and Dan Stauber. John Gilbert is covering the story for the Up North newspaper network.
I think the key here that everybody has to focus on is that this is a way to keep the kids in Minnesota. And you know, if people keep skimming off the cream of the crop, if they do it right, they could destroy high school hockey as an entity. And pretty soon they'd have to go somewhere else looking for players. So I think people have to focus on how good high school hockey is and the benefits of it, and that's what this program will do. Play a 12-game schedule just on weekends, 60-minute stop time games, so 20-minute periods. So adding 12 games onto the high school season with high-intensity practices designed by Herb Brooks and Jack Blatherwick, the whole attempt is to keep the kids from leaving the high school program. And this is only for kids who are playing high school hockey.
And we'll have more on the Prep Fall Hockey League Saturday right here on News 6 as they kick off a brand new entity.
You know, you can never get enough of hockey, right?
Yeah, around these parts. Yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
A report on the chili cook-off when we come back.
RJ Sport and Cycle and Honda want you to ride off on one of the best ATVs on earth. Just in time for hunting season, get great prices on the 98 electric shift and standard shift 450 Foreman ATVs. The first ATV with handlebar mounted electric shifting is on sale now for a limited time. Get in and see the huge selection on all Honda ATVs at RJ Sport and Cycle, up the Miller Trunk Highway, Duluth. Honda, best on earth. Quality parts and service always.
When you give a student the chance to fulfill a dream, we all get to share in it. Walmart's Competitive Edge Scholarship is giving students like Joe Mormon the opportunity to live his dream.
Without Walmart's scholarship, I wouldn't be in college.
It helps America's brightest students become leaders in engineering and technology. That's why Walmart awards Competitive Edge scholarships to students across the country. Sending kids like Joe to college is smart for all of us. We live here too, and we believe good works.
Barbara Riles, I-Team 6 investigations.
For no apparent reason, the bolt holding the driver's side seat sheared off, abruptly dropping the bucket seat back into a fully reclined position.
It was important to have Barbara talk to me about the situation, to tell them that there was a danger.
Making a difference.
Hundreds of complaints from GM vehicle owners following our reports prompted General Motors to make the recall decision.
Barbara's type of investigation does help the general public, and that's what news is all about.
Tonight, Jay's all new with Callista Flockhart and from Simon Birch, Ian Michael Smith. Finally, some truth in advertising.
Movie theater popcorn butter.
Then Conan's got Ray Romano tonight.
Hundreds of chili lovers spent the evening sampling homemade chili at Bayfront Park.
That's right, and no one went home disappointed either, even though some of the hotter recipes could burn the paint off a house. It doesn't matter whether you like it hot, spicy, or mild. There was plenty to choose from at the Chili Cook-Off. One of the winners is Little Angie's Cantina. It received awards for best overall chili and hottest yet most edible. The cook for Little Angie's is as happy as Cardinal slugger Mark McGuire.
Really happy. I mean, it's like hitting 62, you know. It's the culinary version of that. We're really happy to have placed well.
Our nomination for most unique and hottest chili goes to Ebony Wenzel and her friends. How does hot gator chili sound?
It's hot. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd have to say a 12. It's hot. It's hot. The more you eat, the hotter it gets.
Hot, huh?
You know, I'm still bloated from that, by the way. The annual event is sponsored by the United Way.
And all proceeds from tonight's cook-off go to the agency. George, you were there tonight.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Mark, thanks for sharing. Nice to know how things are going there. And now I'll use that as an awkward segue into precipitation. We have some light showers moving across northern Minnesota right now. There's another batch across North Dakota that may be paying us a visit tomorrow morning. These are the temperatures you're going to be looking at heading to work and to school, right around 60 degrees. Watch out, some raindrops coming down, but each and every one of those raindrops is sorely needed. Afternoon temperatures will turn out to be in the upper 70s to lower 80s with some fairly strong winds out of the west-northwest.
Okay, thanks, George.
A little bloating, all for a good cause there, Mark. Thanks for staying in touch with us tonight.
The Tonight Show is next with Jay Leno.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Men's wardrobe provided by Mainstream Fashions for Men, located in the heart of downtown Duluth.